Well, thank you, Michelle, and thank you so much for having us, and thank you to Local Gov for all the partnership we've had going through all this. And so hopefully you all are pretty familiar. I know you get mailers from us constantly because we want to be there when you have a need and what you're trying to do. So we're going to talk quickly, and I'll go fast because I know I'm the last one to talk about Hinge Health, help you understand what it does, program highlights, and a couple of success stories from another state employee from what we've seen. So what do? We're a digital physical therapy program, right? What are we doing? We're taking away that challenge. If I asked you what's the biggest challenge to physical therapy, you would say getting there, right? It's a challenge. We all are stretched with our lives and our time, what we're trying to do. It's because you're working for all your municipalities as much as possible. I also have to mention I am one of the stable, normal city council members in Arlington, Texas. I'm very clear to that because I know you got a bunch of city council members who are crazy, right? That are a thorn in your side. So my HR department actually likes me because I understand this business from where it comes. Some of my colleagues, I can't go that far where they go. But the biggest challenge is getting there, and the second biggest is a copay, right? And through the local gov plan, there is no copay. So your members can do physical therapy from their house, from their office, from work. People have done it on cruises, you name it, they've been able to do physical therapy to where they go. And so as we talk about what happens, and you start seeing some of that, and it doesn't mean traditional physical therapy is eliminated, right? There's still a need, some people need that, and sometimes it's commingled on the two, but where it is. But you have the access and accessibility to make it really work and really powerful. And I'll show you some of the technology of how we do that. So what do we do when people get signed up? And there's multiple reasons why you may sign up. You see that last picture? Pickleball's been really good for our business. You people playing pickleball, it's awesome. We got a lot of shoulder injuries, we got knee injuries. Oh, I can't play tennis, but I can move in pickleball. You're gonna be signing up for physical therapy before too long. So pickleball's been good, but like a lot of things, getting a little older causes it also. Our average age is 47 years old of participants that go through this, which is exactly my age, which sounds really terrible when I start saying that and thinking about it. But then, so you have injuries, and then you also have people that live with chronic pain. I could probably ask this room who has chronic pain, and multiple people would raise their hand. I got hurt playing college football. No problem. Then all of a sudden, when I was 41 years old, walking down a lake, it pinched up, and I still have a little pain in my lower left leg, right? Those things happen. That's what happens. And usually chronic pain's longer than 12 weeks. And also some people are eventually going to have a surgery or they're post-surgery, and they need that physical therapy also from where they're happening. So how do we do this? We want to talk about, we're going to care for everybody and every body part. We're founded by two clinicians. Just recently announced IPO in May on the New York Stock Exchange, HNGE. So it's been great for our organization from what we've done. But we're founded by clinicians. So everything's going to be clinically based on what we do and how we go. But we want to fix every single body from head, shoulders, knees, and toes, right? You could sing that song and we can get there. And so we do this by assigning physical therapies. We do this by doing exercise therapy, and a bunch of y'all saw the technology. It's gonna track you, it's gonna tell you when you're doing it right, when you're doing it wrong, to go through that. And the technology's cool. I always say what we do is not rocket science. We're just trying to get people to do physical therapy because it's proven if you do physical therapy, about 50% of surgeries are avoidable, right? And that helps your people be healthier. It helps those firefighters, those police, the public works, the accounting office, the finance office, because they have as many issues as the guys repairing the roads. It's going to help them do that, but it also helps prevent surgeries. And local gov pays for this because they know in the long run that helps them reduce costs from what they're trying to do. So what we do is not rocket science, but our technology is pretty close to rocket science from what it is. And you'll see what we do. We're tracking through guided motion technology. So you've seen the digital, we're tracking 128 different points on your body. We don't record you, we just record the dots. And all those dots go back to our PT. Our PT's evaluating to see if they need to modify the program and do that. In our technology, you have access to your care team, your doctors of physical therapy, which are all Hinge Health employees, as well as the health coaches, which are all Hinge Health employees. You also have Enzo. I've shown a lot of y'all. Who was it that tried it? Darlene, you're wearing, Darlene, right? She wore it before the first break, but she had a nice story. She was having a little shoulder pain. We put this on there, and it went through, and she wore it for about 45 minutes going through and just tried it and literally reduced the pain, and she almost has no pain. And this is for those folks, think about a TENS device, right? That's the smallest version. Then you have electromagnetic, surgically implanted devices. This is as close as you get. It's a high-frequency FDA cleared device. We send this out to about 10, 15% of our population. That population that's having excruciating 8, 9, 10 pain. They may have trouble starting physical therapy. They may be a high opioid user from those perspectives. And we're sending out to help reduce pain, plain and simple, because our goal is to reduce the members' pain. And that pain's a huge driving factor from what we do from that. There's no extra cost. It's sent out in the entire program. We also have, and listen, the first time is an old boy from Texas, and they were like, you should talk about women's pelvic health. To a lot of HR leaders, I said, you need to do what? I had 4 brothers and no sisters. But now I have 2 daughters, so I am certified, right? I get to talk about this, and my wife said, they want you to talk about what? You're going to do what? But the reality is it's not talked about enough. 1 in 4 women face a pelvic floor issue, and it's a real problem. I remember when the local gov team wanted to do a mailer, and we're like, okay, we've got to convince. Local gov's like, we're a conservative state. How do we send out that? But 28% of enrollment is in the pelvic floor therapy for local gov. It's been a huge success story from what it is. And I talk about it across the country of what local gov has done from that. And it helps with everything. And unfortunately, pelvic floor therapy is sometimes hard to come by. On average, only about 7% of physical therapists are certified in pelvic floor therapy. And usually find on average about 3 months to get in to see a pelvic floor therapist to do that. About 30% of our Hinge Health physical therapists are now certified pelvic floor therapists to really be able to assist and go through that. It's all built into the program. So if you're doing a knee program and you're having some issues on there, which unfortunately women have just toughed it out and let it go too long on that. You can also add things like Kegel exercises in there and stretches to be able to bring that all integrated and all bringing it all together. We also have the next thing I was taught to talk about, and I said, you want me to talk about what? I know better than to bring up menopause to a menopausal woman. My mama didn't raise any fool around here. But menopause is a huge issue. And with you heard us say our average age of what's going on, it is something that we have to and it's built in. It's built in to be able to be in that program, help you prevent, do those exercises for the hot flashes, all the different types of things that come. And it helps with lifestyle and behavior changes because there's a lot that can be done to be able to assist on that across the board, as well as education. And no, one of the articles is not to be mad at your husband around there, but you probably could to be there. But the reality is, what do we see on that? About 43% of members of women are pre-menopause age. So we know this is a huge factor, and we're going to our members to be able to assist them and help them. And there's no extra cost to go in and do the menopause program. So what does it do? You see expert guidance. We have exercise therapy built in, and then also we get into behavioral change, what's helping. And then there's a lot of education articles. A lot of times you're going through this. You may have Googled it, but let's give you some real articles to see what to really do and how to really assist with some of these things and the challenges we're facing. And that's all included as part of the program. It's bringing these things together as a whole. But it's all driven by a care team, right? I said we're all clinically based and we're all going to focus on clinical. And so you're going to see it's all driven by your physical therapist. They're the leaders. We have our chief medical officer. We have orthopedic surgeons on staff. But the physical therapists really drive everything because they are the clinicians. They are all doctors of physical therapy. They are all Hinge Health employees. And you can access them at any time. I tell multiple people have come by and they've talked, and they were like, how do I get an Enzo? And I'm like, go down to the care team, and you can see who your physical therapist is. It's all done through one app, so you can access them. You can message them anytime. You can set up a virtual visit at any time and go through and meet with that physical therapist. If you're going great through the program and all of a sudden a new little injury occurs, it's a great time to do a refresh and meet with that physical therapist. But then we also say physical therapists aren't truly trained in behavioral change. So we also provide you with a health coach, the health coach to your members to be able to assist you. I say pleasantly persistent on that. You know, they're the ones that send you those little pokes and prods when you're not doing it. They're really nice. I kind of think they should be meaner and say, hey, you should do this. What are you doing? But they're actually polite and follow through with what they're doing. But they're also helping you understand what other challenges you're facing. Do we need to assist you on other things? Is there other benefits that LocalGov has that could be able to help you and assist with this? And they're looking across the board to really be able to help you. And they're all board certified health coaches. And it's truly amazing when you see the value of what a health coach can do. So who have we helped? What have we done? And let's tell a little story. Jen, she's actually a state employee in, I think, Pennsylvania is where she officially is, because we have 21 state health plans, so we're all over the U.S., but she's got a nice little video story.
After my mother passed, I had so much depression. I really didn't want to go to work every day, but I was kind of in shock and on autopilot, taking all of her items and putting them away. It was just a tremendous job to do. Of course, that involved a lot of shoulder movement as well. My shoulder pain was so terrible. It would interfere in my work duties, interfere with my typing, and I knew that I needed to seek help for my pain. I found out about Hinge Health through our state website at work. I saw that it offered help for chronic pain. My pain was so unmanageable at that point. I figured, what did I have to lose? When I first joined Hinge, I was in such a state of depression. I wasn't doing it very often. And my coach, Sarah, she would always check in. That would encourage me to get back on the app. Sarah was always willing to help me succeed in the journey. I started exercising more. I started walking. I come into work early. I have an hour routine workout. And then during my lunchtime, I usually do my Hinge Health program in my office. So Hinge has really changed the way I've created positive habits in my life for health and wellness. My attitude became so contagious and enthusiastic. My family could see it, my sister could hear it in my voice. They saw that spark of life come back to me. I would tell somebody considering Hinge Health that you have absolutely nothing to lose. Just try it. It's all tailored to you, regardless of what kind of pain you have going on. Hinge Health has given me that confidence to come home and not experience depression while I'm packing away items. It's joy that my mother would have wanted me to feel. I have such hope for a wonderful journey in this life. And I have Hinge Health to thank for that prospect.
It's pretty awesome working for a company where you get to hear a lot of success stories. And for those of you that walked by my table today and told me, one out there who I think she showed me she's done 369 exercises with that. And I said, wow, goodness gracious, that is awesome. You're what we call a Hinge Health super achiever on there. But all you that went by and said you've done it and been enrolled in the program and the success it's had and how some of you it's helping avoid surgery and really just saying it's really awesome to hear those type of stories. And we really appreciate it because if you've had chronic pain, you know it's miserable. And you've probably had a family member that's had chronic pain. You definitely have employees that have chronic pain to be able to help with that. And it's truly debilitating. You heard her talk about depression and anxiety. Those are things we track. We don't track them in the ROI from where it comes, but those are things that are real. Those are things that happen when you're in chronic pain, because just sitting there at work is sometimes difficult to be able to do from that program, to go through that. And so what do we see? How do we see that of, taking control of the pain? We usually see on average about a 68% reduction in pain, and then we see a 58% reduction in feelings of anxiety and depression. Listen, we're not a mental health company. You should still use mental health providers. They are awesome what they're offered here through local gov. But we know depression and anxiety comes with pain. And so you've got to help and make sure those things are coming together. So how do you do Hinge Health? How do you get in? You see all that. It's really simple to go through the program. And those of you that stop by my table, and I'll be here a little bit afterwards if you want to grab the rest of the flyers and the little handles, all you got to do is scan that. It's a website set up for local gov to be able to go in. All you have to do is refer them. When you sign up, you're going to go through maybe a 10-minute clinical screener. It's going to ask certain questions for you. Make sure we're putting you in the right program. Also make sure there's no major clinically identifying red flags. You'd be surprised. We have people that are like, I'm having surgery tomorrow, or I'm about to go to the hospital. We're like, whoa, wait a second. Okay, let's get some red flags in there. So we're identifying those and helping you get in that program. And then you'll go through and do most likely a virtual assessment with a physical therapist, all through the one app, all virtual, all from your house. And then you'll start using computer vision and doing your exercises at your convenience of when you want to do it and go through that. And as we said, there's no cost to any of this for members from what we're doing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for all that have signed up for Hinge Health, and thank you all for coming here today.